Okay, I haven't done a video for a while. I guess I can do one. I am out by the highway waiting. Well, I was waiting for mail. Now I'm waiting for the FedEx man. Mail came. So I got that out of the way. But I do have a package coming from FedEx. So I can catch them out here. Saves him driving in. This is one of the things I got, a speedometer. A very small, basic speedometer. Uh, I need it for the XT. I don't want to put the big original one on there, but legally to drive it on the street, you have to have a speedometer. And this one should work. Though it goes up to 160, which that XT is never going to see 160 unless it's falling off a hell of a cliff. Now, let's see. Well, this I'm sure probably made in China. I never looked to see, but almost all that stuff is, which is funny. So much of the stuff we get comes out of China, and here we're busy trying to get a war started with China over Taiwan. We're trying to make Taiwan another Ukraine, and the people, not the government, but the people in Taiwan don't even want that, but we're pushing it. But you realize what'll happen, if we actually get something going there. We get so much stuff out of China. If we don't trade with them, we are going to be in a world of hurt. Something like 90% of our pharmaceuticals come out of China. Now, there goes UPS, man, but I'm not waiting for UPS. Like I say, 90% of the stuff comes out of China. We are gradually trying to wean ourselves off that and get more stuff out of India. But there again, India is in pretty tight with Russia. Well, India's willing to do business with us, but the idea that we're going to go ahead and cut off our supply from China and count on India, that's just insane. But the whole thing, our government is insane. Society is insane. But our government, what we're dealing with now is just completely nuts, which is why I've just given up on doing videos. I'm doing it now because I can plug the phone in and charge the battery in. It works. But I just decided with the amount of censorship that we have going on, you can't hardly talk about anything anymore. And it's only going to get worse. I thought it was funny when the squawking about this leak of Pentagon papers. What I was surprised by is so many people were surprised of what was in these. It stunned them. Now, there's a lot of people, including me, been trying to tell you this stuff for a long time. And a lot of us have been getting into trouble for doing it. And then now it comes out and you actually see the papers and you say, oh, it's hard to believe. But your government lies way more often than they tell the truth. But I thought that was funny that people were shocked by what was in them papers. And I don't know, I would like to see more leaks. I know people are, you got to keep this stuff secret. A lot of that stuff doesn't need to be secret, should never be secret, and it really isn't. It's only being kept from the public here. Everybody else in the world understands what's going on. We're making enemies all over the world, left and right. at an unbelievable rate. We've just got a very bad attitude. But I I see nothing but doom and gloom in the future. This is going to get a hell of a lot worse before it gets better. And that's where I finally got to the point where I thought, well, there's no point talking about this anymore. Either you understand that now and you are preparing for this, or you refuse to believe in it, refuse to accept what's playing in front of you, and you're going to be in for a world of hurt. Yeah, but they got to keep them secrets. No, I'm glad this guy leaked this stuff out. If in fact it did come from him, like there's great doubts about that. But it looks like somehow he'd got this kid had got a hold of this stuff and leaked it to his friends, and then of course it went. It took a long time, but it actually got out in the public. But this stuff, like I say, to me there was nothing in there that was surprising. It was all pretty well known, just not accepted publicly. Well, but you're going to have to start to learn to trust your instinct on that stuff, because things are going to get, like I say, really bad. I would say within a month. I mean, every day I wake up and I think, okay, what disaster happened? I was thinking last night about this. I used to have an elk hound, a Norwegian elk hound, big dog, tight curly tail, ornery brute. But he was terrified of thunderstorms. Thunder just drove him nuts. Then the amazing thing, he could tell a storm was coming. It could be 100 miles away, but he knew it was coming. And then he always wanted to get under the bed. So I'd be sleeping in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden, boom, boom, something tried to, he's a fat dog, and the bed was only like that high off the floor. So he's banging on the bottom of the bed, getting under there to hide from the storm. But he could tell that something was coming. But it would be hours later the storm would hit, but he was already under the bed. But I think one of these mornings I'm going to end up under the bed. I just think if you look at what's going on, there's no easy way out of the situation we've got ourselves into, or the way out of it you cannot talk about. I mean, there again, we can do regime change all over the world, but if you talk about regime change in this country, you will be shut down or arrested. It's funny. I mean, you can get in big trouble just for stupid little things like misgendering somebody. Like that beer thing where that guy is claiming he's a woman, and if you were to say that, that's a guy, that could be considered harassing him, misgendering him. I don't run. There's a lot of that goes on around here. Believe me. I did run into one time. It was a cashier in a thrift store, and I'm looking at this animal trying to figure out if it was male or female, and it was a questionable thing. So in my mind, I just refer to as it. That's the pronoun I prefer to use. When in doubt, it's an it. Yeah. Well, I'm glad to see I got the mail stuff out of the way. I'm trying to get the parts that I need because, like I say, I know things are going to go bad, and then deliveries and shipping and stuff. It's slowed down a lot now. It a lot of times takes a lot longer than it used to for things to come short distances. Things are getting really screwy in the shipping deal, but particularly if you're getting stuff from overseas. I know I've got something coming from Cyprus. I don't know where the hell that is at the moment, but it was in Cyprus. But motorcycle stuff I ended getting from all over the place. And like I say, a lot of that stuff is taking kind of weird routes now. Well, I'll leave it go at that. I had no desire to make a video, but like I say, I'm killing time waiting on the FedEx man. But he might have brought it over to my brother's. If my road is crustable, he sometimes brings it over there. So I'll go over there and check. But I tell you, you really look out for yourself. Don't believe anything the government tells you. Don't count on them to pull some rabbit out of this hat. I think this whole thing is going down. I'm in a position where I'm fine. I'm barely in society as it is, so I can pull back from this completely, and it won't make any difference. Like I say, all I'm doing is making sure I got everything on hand to keep me going, and I'm in pretty good shape. I got a lot of stuff put ahead, a lot of extra parts. Every time I buy something, well, the speedometer I didn't, and I only bought one of. Though, looking at it, I think I'm going to buy another one. But I do tend to, if I buy a thing, I buy two. If it's something I know I want and I know that it'll work. Like this, I'm going to try out, and if this works, boom, I'll order another one right away and get it before the shit really hits the fan, because it's gonna. I don't understand how people think they could that this is gonna smooth over in some way. There's just too many things hitting all at once, including in the collapse of the dollar, and they're wanting to change to this digital currency stuff. It's nothing but doom and gloom. That's all I can say. It's funny. Like say when that Chinese balloon went over, and then people said, "Oh, it could have an EMP device on it." I don't think people grasp. It takes a lot of power to make an EMP in the first place, but it's not only like a nuclear bomb. Yeah, you're going to get an EMP, and one of them would knock out our grid, and our grid would be down for years. This is all so intertwined. If that goes down, everything goes down for a long time. We'll be back, revert like 100 years or more in one flash. But it isn't even just the nuclear aspect. You do have to keep in mind of the solar activity. Like we have increased solar activity for the next 2 years. And now the last time it was at these levels, it was back when the highest technology we had was telegraph, and knocked all that out. Now, the way things are, as touchy as things are, if something happens, it's going to fry everything. And now people are completely helpless without that technology. I try to get by on low tech stuff. I rely on that, because I know it's not so fussy about stuff. I mean, this vehicle is high tech in a way, but it is actually set up to take an EMP. It was made that way. But most of these new cars, boom, any kind of a surge in magnetic energy, and they're all dead. But even just communication, oh my God, everything is so tied into that. One little blip and everything goes down. And I don't think people understand or really grasp how disastrous this would be. So, man, have fallback positions. You really got to be thinking. Like I say, I'm set up for it, but I would lose my phone. I can live without that. So much stuff would go down. I really don't think people grasp how perilous the position that they have put themselves in is. And we have no leadership at all that you can count on. I mean, these people are absolutely useless. Oh, well, I can always crawl under the bed. I guess that Elcon knew what he was doing. But damn, I hope people wake up. Because I don't think our leadership is gonna. I think they're committed on this course of self-destruction. Oh, I was going to say the one time too. I thought about this. You should. I don't know if people are aware of that. You know that video. Oliver Stone made a documentary on Ukraine. What was it called? Ukraine on Fire. No, they've taken it down and then it pops back up and stuff. But I think right now, the last I looked, it was still on YouTube. And if you haven't seen that, you should at least watch that. I think you have to click through some warnings and stuff to get on. And God only knows you probably get on some list if you watch it. But that's all factual stuff. I mean, this isn't like a movie. This is a documentary where it's actually clips from what was going on at the time. And honestly, if you were paying attention at the time of this Maidan, you will notice that it just barely skims the surface of what was actually going on. But the interesting part is the characters involved in this. There you'll see Victoria Nuland, John Kerry, Biden, all these characters that were there stirring up that stuff at the time, including Soros, George Soros, the epitome of evil. They were all involved in this. And these same people that caused this hell on earth are in control in this country. And that should really give you pause. Well, like I say, crawl under the bed.